Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We're going to strip away all that technical intimidation surrounding APIs and really get to the bottom of their massive value for operational efficiency. Look, if you're an executive or a business leader, you've probably heard your engineering teams talking about APIs constantly, right? And yeah, it can sound like this highly complex, impenetrable wall of tech jargon. But today, we're reframing that completely. We're going to look at APIs not as, just lines of code, but as literally one of the most powerful levers your business possesses for corporate ROI, mitigating technical debt, and massively driving your speed to market.
So, the foundational mental model from our source material is actually incredibly simple. It boils down to this. An API is just a messenger. That's it. It allows different apps and computer programs to communicate and work together. You really don't need to be a software engineer to understand this. Think about it. If you understand how a courier delivers a highly sensitive contract between two corporate offices, well, you already understand the business value of an API. It's simply the unseen infrastructure making absolutely sure your digital assets can actually talk to the outside world.
Here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The ultimate digital messenger, 2. The waiter analogy, 3. APIs and everyday action, 4. Integrating AI and apps, 5. The universal software translator, and finally 6. Why APIs save time.
All right, moving right along to Section 1, the ultimate digital messenger. The absolutely crucial point here is that an API's entire job is just to take a request, deliver it, and carry the result back. Think of it as the ultimate task delegator. In business, you know you don't do everything yourself, right? You delegate tasks to specialized departments and they bring you back the results. Well, an API does exactly this, but for your software. It takes a request from your app, hands it off to another highly specialized application, and boom, brings back the answer instantly. What this means is your team doesn't have to build out every single capability in-house. They just need a really good messenger.
Let's look at Section 2, the waiter analogy. Think about a simple 3-step process in a restaurant. You're the customer, the kitchen is where the actual work gets done, and the waiter is your API. You don't walk into a restaurant kitchen to cook your own food, right? No way. That would be incredibly inefficient. You'd have to buy the ingredients, learn the recipe, figure out how to use their stoves. Instead, you just use the waiter, your API, to deliver your request and bring back your meal. Putting this in corporate terms, this is how your developers avoid massive CapEx outlays. They don't have to spend millions building a brand new kitchen every time they need a feature. They just hire a waiter to get what they need from a kitchen that already exists.
This brilliantly illustrates how this plays out in the real digital economy, say with a pizza app. The app you're holding in your hand and the restaurant actually making the food are two entirely different businesses. They have completely different systems. But they're connected through an API that carries your order and returns with updates. The pizza app company, they didn't have to build point-of-sale software for the restaurant, and the restaurant didn't have to build a mobile app. The API just acts as this seamless business-to-business partnership, passing data back and forth so both companies can focus strictly on what they do best, their core competencies.
Which brings us to Section 3, APIs in everyday action.
Just think about your daily operations for a second. Maps, asking for directions, shopping apps, checking inventory, payment apps, processing purchases. When your weather app asks an outside company, hey, what's the weather in Charlotte today? An API is the messenger that instantly returns 82 degrees and sunny right to your screen. The weather app company didn't launch their own meteorological satellites. They didn't go out and hire thousands of meteorologists. They just used an API to ask another company for the data. Think about the massive shift from CapEx to OpEx right there. Whenever you see a payment app securely processing a purchase, they're using an API to talk to a bank. This is exactly how modern businesses scale so quickly. They plug into other businesses' systems instead of constantly reinventing the wheel.
Let's dive into Section 4, integrating AI and apps.
Let's say your company wants to build a homework helper app. A student asks the app to explain photosynthesis. Now, you do not need to hire a massive team of PhDs and machine learning engineers to build an AI from scratch. No, instead, your app uses an API as a messenger to ask an external, already built AI system for the answer. The AI writes the answer, the API carries it back, and your app displays it. Your company just integrated world-class artificial intelligence into your product for literally pennies, simply by understanding how to use an API to outsource the heavy lifting. I mean, that is unparalleled operational efficiency.
Moving to Section 5, the Universal Software Translator.
So, when you're dealing with mergers and acquisitions, you often inherit programs that speak completely different digital languages. Let's say like English and Spanish. You absolutely don't have to rip out and replace all those entire legacy IT systems, which, by the way, avoids mountains of technical debt. Just like a human translator listening to English, explaining it in Spanish, and bringing back the reply, an API helps different computer programs talk to each other seamlessly. You just deploy APIs to act as translators across your different software silos, getting them all to share data efficiently and accurately without a massive, expensive overhaul.
And finally, Section 6. Why APIs save time.
Seriously, consider what happens to developer velocity without APIs. Apps couldn't share information easily, meaning your sales data wouldn't talk to your marketing data. Everyday apps just wouldn't work smoothly. But most importantly, developers would face the colossal frustration and inefficiency of building every single feature entirely from scratch. Look, if you wanted a map on your website, you'd literally have to build Google Maps yourself. If you want credit card processing, you'd basically have to become a bank. APIs completely eliminate this redundancy. They allow your highly paid engineering teams to focus exclusively on what makes your specific product unique, rather than wasting thousands of hours rebuilding infrastructure that someone else has already perfected.
Our source material summarizes this perfectly, saying, APIs save time and make it possible for apps to work together. In the corporate world, saving time directly equates to lowering operational costs and increasing profit margins. It's really that simple. APIs prevent redundant work. They connect disparate, messy legacy systems into a streamlined, automated workflow. They are, for sure, the invisible glue holding the modern digital economy together.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this. If your developers had to build every single feature from scratch, how much time would your business lose today? Just think about the map integrations, the payment gateways, the AI tools, the weather data. How much efficiency are these unseen digital messengers already creating for you? And more importantly, now that you understand the true operational value of APIs, how can you leverage them even further to outpace your competitors? That's definitely a question worth taking in your next board meeting. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.